On October 19, 2025, 8 priceless artifacts were stolen from the Louvre in just 4 to 7 minutes. But this wasn't your typical heist targeting the most valuable pieces. The Regent Diamond, valued at over $60 million by expert estimates, sat untouched while thieves targeted something far more irreplaceable. These weren't just jewels. They were tangible connections to Napoleon's wedding gifts, 3 queen's crowns, and centuries of French history. Each stolen piece represents a different level of historical tragedy, from incomplete jewelry sets to severed imperial legacies. What French officials called a national disaster goes far beyond monetary value. The key here is that some of these pieces were already incomplete before the thieves ever arrived. The single lost earring, the incomplete mystery. Thieves stole one earring from the pair, leaving its mate behind. The original matched set from the sapphire parure was fractured by the theft, leaving behind one lonely survivor adorned with diamonds. The earring carried the weight of 3 distinct royal chapters. Queen Hortense wore it during the height of the First Empire, when Napoleon's court demanded displays of imperial grandeur. Later, Queen Marie-Amélie adapted it for the more restrained elegance of the July monarchy. Finally, Isabelle of Orléans inherited this solitary reminder of a once complete royal statement. What makes this piece particularly intriguing is its mysterious origins. Despite portraits showing these royal women wearing the parure, historians still debate who commissioned it and which craftsman created it. Some experts suggest possible connections to Marie Antoinette's jewelry collection, adding another layer of royal intrigue to an already incomplete story. But here's what makes this theft so devastating. Matched jewelry sets functioned as unified statements of power. Each element was designed to complement the others, creating a complete visual narrative that reinforced royal authority. The sapphire's deep blue was meant to be echoed by its missing partner. The diamonds in the pair were arranged to create symmetrical light patterns when both earrings caught candlelight simultaneously. When one piece disappears, the entire system collapses. The remaining earring becomes a monument to incompleteness rather than a celebration of craftsmanship. Royal jewelers understood this principle completely. They designed match sets with mathematical precision, ensuring that individual pieces would feel fundamentally incomplete when separated. The tragedy extends beyond mere aesthetics. This styling continuity had survived the French Revolution, when royal jewelry became symbols of everything revolutionaries despised. It endured the Napoleonic Wars, multiple regime changes, and 2 centuries of political upheaval. The earring represented an unbroken chain of royal identity that connected the ancient regime to the modern French Republic. Museums dedicate enormous resources to reuniting separated jewelry sets. Curators understand that incomplete collections tell incomplete stories. Every missing piece represents a gap in our understanding of how royal power was constructed and displayed. The Louvre had spent decades building this collection precisely because complete sets reveal more than their individual components ever could. The technical aspects compound this loss. The diamonds were cut and set using early 19th century techniques that modern jewelers still study. Each stone was positioned to maximize light reflection when paired with its missing partner. The sapphire itself was selected for its color consistency with the absent earring. The theft severed the last tangible connection to this complete royal vision. This wasn't just stealing a valuable object. The thieves eliminated the possibility that future generations might reunite the set and restore its original meaning. But individual earrings pale in comparison to what the thieves targeted next. Some stolen pieces weren't just accessories at all. The royal brooches, symbols of imperial power. 2 small pins that could fit in your palm, yet they carried the weight of an entire empire's legitimacy. Empress Eugenie's reliquary brooch and corsage, bow brooch, functioned as calculated political instruments designed to prove Napoleon III's right to rule France through sheer technical mastery. The reliquary brooch contained 94 diamonds arranged in a perfect rosace pattern, but its true historical significance ran deeper. This piece includes 2 diamonds associated with the historic Mazarin set that had once served as just decor buttons for Louis XIV himself. The brooch was nicknamed a reliquary. Some sources note a small back compartment and speculate it might have been intended for a relic, but this isn't confirmed. The key here is that this ambiguity added to its mystique and political power. The corsage bow brooch represented the real masterpiece. Commissioned in 1855 with 2,438 diamonds, and 196 rose-cut diamonds, it demonstrated the technical pinnacle of 19th century Parisian craftsmanship. The timing was deliberate. These pieces emerged during the 1855 Exposition Universelle, when the Second Empire needed to establish its legitimacy through sheer visual overwhelm. Napoleon III's crown was also created for this same exhibition, demonstrating the coordinated imperial display strategy. But how did jewelers actually manage to set over 2,600 diamonds in a stable, wearable form? The bow brooch was originally the centerpiece of a belt ensemble containing over 4,000 diamonds total. This wasn't just decoration, it was designed to literally outshine any competing claims to imperial authority. By the mid-1860s, Eugénie had adapted this magnificent piece into a bodice brooch, allowing its cascade of ribbons and tassels to extend down to her waist. The engineering challenge was enormous. Setting thousands of stones required developing new mounting techniques that could distribute weight while maintaining structural integrity. Parisian jewelers had to create microscopic prong systems and innovative backing structures that prevented diamond loss during wear. Each stone needed individual attention to ensure proper light reflection while contributing to the overall design pattern. What made these brooches revolutionary was their modular design. Eugénie could adapt her display of power for different occasions by reconfiguring elements of the belt ensemble. This flexibility allowed the same diamonds to serve multiple political functions, from intimate court gatherings to grand state ceremonies. The 1855 World's Fair provided the perfect stage for displaying this technical mastery. Foreign dignitaries could witness firsthand that France still produced the most sophisticated luxury goods in Europe. This made Napoleon III's imperial project credible through pure technical demonstration rather than historical precedent. The theft severed a direct connection to how 19th century empires used craftsmanship as political propaganda. But these brooches weren't the only stolen pieces designed to cement diplomatic alliances through precious stones. The emerald earrings, Napoleon's wedding promise. Napoleon I needed to seal the most important political alliance of his career, and he chose to do it with emeralds and diamonds. These emerald and diamond earrings represented Napoleon's promise that the France-Austria alliance would be as enduring as the stones themselves. François Regnault Nito created these earrings as part of a complete emerald parure that included a necklace, diadem, and decorative comb. Having recently taken over the family business after his father Etienne's death in March 1809, this commission was crucial for establishing his reputation as the premier imperial jeweler. The entire set functioned as a coordinated diplomatic statement, delivered directly to Marie-Louise for her personal collection, rather than the crown jewels inventory. This distinction was crucial. Napoleon commissioned 2 complete parures for the April 2nd, 1810 wedding, one in emeralds and diamonds, another in opals and diamonds. Both were intended to establish Marie-Louise's status as empress while symbolizing the merger of French and Austrian imperial power. The technical mastery involved was extraordinary. Each earring contained 6 emeralds and 108 diamonds total, requiring Nito to develop precise setting techniques that could secure the stones while maximizing their light reflection. The emerald cuts had to complement the diamond arrangements perfectly, creating a unified visual statement worthy of imperial diplomacy. But the real story began after Napoleon's fall in 1814. Marie-Louise took the jewelry with her when she left France, beginning a century-long journey through European courts. The key here is that these pieces carried their diplomatic significance beyond the marriage that created them. They became mobile ambassadors of Napoleon's original vision, even as his empire crumbled. The emerald earrings passed through the hands of Leopold II, then disappeared into private collections. Their imperial significance seemed lost to history as they moved through dealers and collectors who valued them purely as luxury objects. Van Cleef and Arpels eventually acquired the set in 1953 from Archduke Karl Stephan Habsburg, recognizing something crucial that others had missed. These pieces functioned as artifacts of European diplomacy, not just beautiful jewelry. The Louvre's 2004 purchase represented something profound. France was literally buying back its own imperial heritage from the private market. This acquisition required extensive negotiation and significant financial investment, but it marked the restoration of Napoleon's wedding promise to the French people. The earrings had survived Napoleon's exile, 2 world wars, and decades in private hands before finding their way home. This theft severs that connection again. The earrings will be viewed as commodities to be broken down and sold, their emeralds and diamonds separated from the diplomatic history that made them invaluable. But even pieces with known provenance pale beside the mysteries that some stolen artifacts still conceal. The sapphire necklace, the mysterious origins. 8 Ceylon sapphires of different sizes and 631 diamonds. Yet nobody knows who commissioned this masterpiece or why. This necklace represents one of the most intriguing mysteries in French royal jewelry, a piece of undeniable imperial quality with completely unknown origins. The 8 sapphires were natural Ceylon stones, prized for their deep blue color and exceptional clarity. Ceylon sapphires possessed a particular brilliance that distinguished them from stones found in other regions. These specimens remained in their natural state, non-heated, which was crucial for preserving their authentic characteristics. Modern jewelry practices commonly involve heating sapphires to enhance their color, making these untreated stones exceptionally rare by today's standards. The mystery deepens when you examine the construction techniques. All chain links were articulated, demonstrating what experts describe as great technical perfection. This level of craftsmanship required specialized knowledge of how to create flexible connections that could support the weight of hundreds of stones while maintaining structural integrity during wear. Some historians suggest a connection to Marie Antoinette's collection, but the evidence remains tantalizingly incomplete. The technical style matches work from her era, and the preference for natural, unenhanced stones aligns with the 18th century royal taste. However, no inventory records definitively place this necklace in her possession. What we do know traces its royal journey through documented ownership. The piece passed from Queen Hortense to Queen Marie Amélie, each adding their own chapter to its mysterious story. Queen Hortense wore it during the First Empire, when imperial jewelry served as political statements. Marie Amélie inherited it during the July monarchy, adapting its meaning for a more constitutional form of royalty. The necklace was actually part of a complete sapphire parure that originally included a diadem, earrings, 2 small brooches, 1 large brooch, a comb, and 2 bracelets. This massive coordinated set demonstrated the scale of royal jewelry commissions and the technical mastery required to create matching pieces across multiple jewelry types. The theft of individual elements from this parure makes the loss even more devastating, as it breaks apart a unified artistic vision. The Orleans family maintained possession until 1985, when the Louvre acquired the complete sapphire parure. This acquisition represented the museum's commitment to preserving pieces regardless of their uncertain provenance. The mystery surrounding its creation actually enhanced its historical value, rather than diminishing it. The theft eliminates any chance that future research might finally solve the mystery of its origins. Advanced techniques for analyzing historical jewelry could have eventually revealed its creator, but those possibilities vanished with the piece itself. But this necklace wasn't the only piece in the parure that demonstrated extraordinary technical innovation. The sapphire diadem, the crown of 3 queens. The diadem represented the ultimate expression of this technical mastery. 24 sapphires and 1,083 diamonds that could transform from a crown into individual brooches. This was engineering mastery disguised as royal jewelry. This diadem represents the pinnacle of 19th century jewelry engineering, designed with such sophisticated modularity that it could serve 3 generations of queens in completely different ways. The technical challenge was enormous. Create a piece that maintains structural integrity as a crown, but can be completely disassembled into wearable brooches. Parisian jewelers working between 1800 and 1835 had to solve fundamental engineering problems that would challenge modern craftsmen today. The key here is that the diadem was composed of 5 articulated elements, each topped with a large sapphire. Each element functioned as both a structural component of the crown and an independent brooch. Queen Hortense wore it as a unified statement of imperial power during Napoleon's reign. The complete diadem created a continuous arc of blue fire above her forehead, establishing her authority through sheer visual impact. Marie Amélie adapted individual elements for more intimate court occasions during the July monarchy. She could detach specific sapphire brooches to complement different gowns while maintaining the royal symbolism. This flexibility allowed the same stones to serve multiple political functions across changing court protocols. Evidence suggests the diadem was likely modified over time, as comparing the portrait of Marie Amélie by Louis Herson from 1836 with later photographic portraits of Isabelle d'Orléans reveals slight differences in the piece's configuration. Isabel of Orleans inherited not just jewelry, but a mechanical marvel that could be reconfigured to match the political needs of her era. By the time she wore these pieces, European royalty faced different challenges that required more subtle displays of authority. The Ceylon sapphires were specifically chosen for their durability and color consistency. Each stone had to maintain visual harmony with the others, whether assembled as a crown or worn as separate brooches. The problem was that natural sapphires vary in color saturation and clarity. Finding 24 stones that matched perfectly required extraordinary selection skills. Parisian jewelers had to develop entirely new hinge and clasp systems. These mechanisms needed to be invisible when the diadem was assembled as a crown, but secure enough for individual wear as brooches. Each connection point had to support the weight of surrounding stones while allowing smooth detachment and reattachment. The mounting system used microscopic pivot points that distributed stress across multiple connection points. This prevented any single joint from bearing excessive weight that could cause failure during transformation between crown and brooch configurations. This adaptability allowed the piece to survive changing fashions and political upheavals by literally reinventing itself for each new owner. The diadem proved that the greatest royal jewelry created flexible symbols that could evolve with their times. But even this engineering marvel paled beside the technical challenges that faced jewelers creating wedding commissions for imperial ceremonies. The Pearl and Diamond Tiara, the Wedding Commission. Napoleon III had a problem in 1853. He needed a wedding gift that would announce his empire's arrival on the world stage. So he commissioned Alexandre Gabriel Lemonnier to create something unprecedented. Lemonnier had just been appointed Joaillier de la Couronne that same year, making this commission one of his first major crown commissions and the piece that would define his legacy. The 1853 pearl diadem functioned as Napoleon III's declaration that the Second Empire could rival any European court in luxury and sophistication. But this commission presented massive technical challenges that pushed 19th-century jewelry craftsmanship to its absolute limits. Lemonnier faced an enormous engineering problem. He needed to incorporate 212 pearls, 1,998 diamonds, and 992 rose-cut diamonds into a single, wearable masterpiece. The key here is that each material required completely different mounting techniques and structural considerations. The technical complexity required developing entirely new setting methods. Pearls needed careful drilling to prevent cracking, while diamonds required precise facet alignment for maximum light reflection. Rose-cut diamonds presented their own challenges with their flatbacks and triangular facets that caught light differently than modern brilliant cuts. But the problem was that pearls and diamonds expand at different rates under temperature changes. Lemonnier had to engineer mounting systems that could accommodate this thermal expansion without loosening stones or compromising structural integrity. The solution involved creating microscopic expansion joints throughout the piece. The piece's journey after Eugenie reveals how royal wedding symbols transcend their original purpose and become artifacts of historical memory. When the Second Empire collapsed in 1870, this diadem could have been lost to history like countless other imperial treasures. After the empire's fall, the tiara passed to the Prince von Thurn und Taxis family. This transfer maintained its imperial significance even in foreign courts, where it continued to represent the technical mastery of French craftsmanship. The Thurn and Taxis family preserved the piece through 2 world wars and decades of political upheaval. The piece was sold at the Thurn and Taxis collection auction by Sotheby's Geneva in November 1992, then donated to the Louvre by the Société des Amis du Louvre. This represented something profound. A wedding gift was coming home to become a national treasure, completing its transformation from personal jewelry to public heritage. The theft particularly devastates because the tiara had already completed this transformation from personal gift to public heritage. The piece had survived political collapse, foreign ownership, and a century of separation before finding its permanent home in France. Lemonnier's 1853 masterpiece proved that wedding commissions could become enduring monuments to imperial ambition, outlasting the marriages and empires that created them. The diadem demonstrated that technical innovation in luxury crafts could establish political legitimacy through sheer artistic achievement. But Napoleon III's wedding commission wasn't the most ambitious imperial jewelry project of the 19th century. The Emerald Necklace, the Emperor's Ultimate Gift. That title belonged to Napoleon I's Emerald Necklace, featuring 32 emeralds set among 1,138 diamonds. March 1810 marked the moment when Napoleon decided to stake his legacy on a single necklace, creating what he intended to be the ultimate expression of imperial French craftsmanship. François Regnault received this commission with full understanding of its significance. The piece represented more than luxury. This was Napoleon's vision of how French artisans could surpass anything produced by the established monarchies of Europe. The technical specifications alone demonstrated this ambition. 32 emeralds, including 10 pear-shaped stones, complemented by 1,138 diamonds split between 874 brilliant cut and 264 rose-cut stones. The centerpiece featured a 13.75 metric carat oval-shaped emerald, cut with 8 facets that demonstrated the precision Napoleon demanded. But the engineering challenge was enormous. How do you create a necklace that can support over 1,100 individual stones while maintaining flexibility for wear? Nitot had to develop articulated mounting systems that distributed weight across multiple connection points. Each emerald required custom settings that accommodated their irregular natural shapes, while the diamonds needed precision mounting for maximum light reflection. The key here is that this necklace functioned as both jewelry and diplomatic instrument. Napoleon commissioned it as part of a complete emerald parure for Marie-Louise, designed to underscore the France-Austria alliance through sheer technical mastery. But the necklace's post-imperial journey reveals the complex reality of how royal artifacts survive political upheaval and changing ownership. After Marie-Louise's departure from France in 1814, she bequeathed the parure to her cousin Leopold II of Habsburg, Grand Duke of Tuscany. His descendants maintained possession until 1953, when they sold it to Van Cleef and Arpels. The problem was that Van Cleef and Arpels didn't initially understand the piece's historical significance. In a controversial decision, they sold the diadem's emeralds and replaced them with turquoise. This fundamentally altered the piece's character while preserving its structure. The necklace and earrings remained intact, maintaining their original emerald and diamond composition. Van Cleef and Arpels eventually sold the set to Baroness Elie de Rothschild, who began understanding that she held pieces of European history rather than mere luxury goods. The Louvre's 2004 purchase represented the final homecoming of Napoleon's ultimate diplomatic gift, restored to something approaching its original glory. But experts now predict that this masterpiece will be dismantled completely. Its emeralds and diamonds will be separated and sold individually on black markets worldwide. Napoleon's ultimate gift was meant to last forever, proving French superiority in the decorative arts. The systematic erasure of centuries of provenance and craftsmanship for short-term profit will reduce 2 centuries of documented history to anonymous stones scattered across underground markets. These losses represent something that transcends any monetary calculation. The October 19, 2025 heist lasted just 4 to 7 minutes, but it severed connections to French history that had survived revolutions, wars, and 2 centuries of political upheaval. These 8 stolen pieces represented tangible links to the people and moments that shaped France. The Regent Diamond, valued at over $60 million by expert estimates, sat untouched while thieves targeted artifacts that carried far deeper significance. Empress Eugenie's crown, adorned with 1,354 diamonds and 56 emeralds, was dropped and recovered damaged outside the museum. What French officials called a national disaster and attack on a heritage that we cherish proves that some losses transcend monetary valuation, leaving holes in our collective memory that can never be filled.